Before she became Lady Gaga, Stefani Germanotta was a student at a private school in New York City. But her journey wasn't easy. She was often the target of bullying, teased for her eccentric style and bold personality. Stefani found refuge in her music. After school, she'd play the piano for hours, pouring her emotions into melodies. Music became her escape, a way to drown out the cruelty. Despite the challenges, her spirit remained unbroken. She believed that one day her voice would rise above the noise and she'd show the world the power of being unapologetically herself. At the heart of Stefani's resilience was Mrs. Carlyle, her high school music teacher. Recognizing Stefani's talent, Mrs. Carlyle became her biggest advocate, nurturing her potential with unwavering support. "You're special, Stefani," she'd say during their one-on-one lessons. "Don't let anyone make you feel otherwise." In a world that often seemed against her, those words felt like a lifeline. When the bullying intensified, Mrs. Carlyle's classroom became Stephanie's sanctuary. It was here that she found the courage to compose her first original song. Mrs. Carlyle would listen intently, offering both technical advice and heartfelt encouragement. One day, Mrs. Carlyle stayed late after school to prepare Stefani for a talent show. "This is your moment," she said with a warm smile. "Let them see who you truly are." Stefani took the stage, her voice trembling at first but growing stronger with every note. The audience was captivated, and for the first time, Stefani felt truly seen. Years later, Stefani transformed into Lady Gaga, a name that would soon be known worldwide. Her debut album shattered records and her performances redefined the music industry. But beneath the glitz and glamour, she carried the lessons Mrs. Carlyle had taught her. Whenever she faced challenges, Gaga would recall Mrs. Carlyle's words, "Don't let anyone make you feel less than extraordinary." These words became a mantra, fueling her as she navigated the pressures of fame. In interviews, Gaga often spoke about her struggles with bullying and how they shaped her artistry. "I want my fans to know it's okay to be different," she'd say. Or her message resonated deeply with millions, turning her into a beacon of hope for the outcasts and misfits of the world. Despite her success, Gaga remained grounded. She often thought of Mrs. Carlyle, the woman who had believed in her when no one else did. Gaga vowed that one day she'd repay that kindness. One evening, while scrolling through social media, Gaga stumbled upon a post that stopped her in her tracks. It was a fundraiser for Mrs. Carlyle, who was battling a serious illness and struggling with mounting medical bills. Gaga's heart sank. She couldn't believe that the woman who had given her so much was now in need. Without hesitation, she contacted the organizers, offering to cover all expenses. "But please," she added firmly, "keep this anonymous." The following week, Mrs. Carlyle received an unexpected call. Her bills had been paid in full, and an additional fund had been set up to support her ongoing care. She was overwhelmed with gratitude, suspecting who might be behind the gesture. While Gaga felt fulfilled knowing she had helped, she also felt the pull of a deeper need. This wasn't just about financial assistance, it was about reconnecting with someone who had played such a pivotal role in her life. Gaga couldn't stop thinking about Mrs. Carlyle. She decided it wasn't enough to remain anonymous. She needed to see her teacher in person. One sunny afternoon, Gaga arrived at Mrs. Carlyle's home, holding a bouquet of flowers. Mrs. Carlyle opened the door and froze, her eyes widening. "Stefani," she whispered, tears already forming. The two embraced, their connection as strong as ever despite the years that had passed. Gaga spent the afternoon reminiscing with her mentor, sharing stories of her journey and how Mrs. Carlyle's belief in her had shaped her life. As they sat together, Gaga made a heartfelt promise. "I want to honor what you've done for me," she said. She revealed plans to create a scholarship fund in Mrs. Carlyle's name, aimed at supporting young musicians who, like Gaga, needed encouragement to follow their dreams. Mrs. Carlyle, overwhelmed with emotion, could only nod, her heart full of pride and gratitude. The scholarship fund, named the Carlyle Legacy Award, was announced at a grand event. Gaga invited aspiring musicians, educators, and fans to celebrate the woman who had been her guiding light. During the event, Gaga performed one of her earliest compositions, a song Mrs. Carlyle had helped her perfect in high school. The room fell silent as Gaga's voice filled the space, each note carrying the weight of their shared journey. Mrs. Carlyle, sitting in the front row, wiped away tears. For her, the scholarship wasn't just a tribute, it was a continuation of the work she'd dedicated her life to. The fund quickly gained traction, with donors from around the world contributing to its mission. Gaga felt a deep sense of fulfillment, knowing that Mrs. Carlyle's impact would now extend to generations of young artists. The event marked a full circle moment, a testament to the enduring power of mentorship and gratitude. Word of Gaga's tribute spread, inspiring fans and fellow artists alike. Many began sharing their own stories of teachers and mentors who had shaped their lives. Social media lit up with posts tagged #Thank You Mentors, creating a ripple effect of gratitude. Gaga, moved by the outpouring of stories, decided to expand the scholarship program, partnering with schools nationwide. She personally visited several classrooms, speaking to students about the importance of believing in themselves. One day during a school visit, a young girl approached Gaga shyly. "I want to be like you someday," she said. Gaga knelt down, looking her in the eye. "You already are," she replied. "Just keep believing in yourself." For Gaga, these moments were the real rewards. She saw herself in every aspiring artist, every dreamer who dared to be different. Through her actions, she was passing on the kindness that had changed her life, ensuring that Mrs. Carlyle's legacy would endure. As Gaga's career continued to soar, she never stopped championing the causes close to her heart. The Carlyle Legacy Award became one of her proudest achievements, helping countless young artists pursue their dreams. Gaga often reflected on the journey that had brought her here. She thought of the shy girl at the piano, the teacher who saw her potential, and the woman she'd become. For her, success wasn't measured by fame or awards. It was about the lives she could touch. Whenever she performed, Gaga felt Mrs. Carlyle's presence, her voice echoing in her mind. "Don't let anyone dim your light." It was a reminder of the unbreakable bond they shared, a connection that had transcended time and circumstance. In interviews, Gaga often spoke about Mrs. Carlyle, encouraging others to honor the mentors in their lives. "They're the real stars," she'd say. And in her heart, Gaga knew that her own light shone brighter because of one woman's belief in her. Lady Gaga's journey is a testament to the power of mentorship and gratitude. Her story reminds us that a single act of kindness can spark a chain reaction, touching lives in ways we can't even imagine. Who has made a difference in your life? Share your thoughts in the comments below. And don't forget to like, share, and subscribe for more inspiring Hollywood tales.